Howdy, folks. It is Alex Mandarino, and it is your host of Road Trip to Primetown 2022. I have already run out of aircraft and plane puns, if you can believe it. So if you do have any in the back of your head, please send them over as quickly as possible. I love to sneak them into this road trip that you are on with me. It is almost June 2nd, folks. We are about a week away from Primetown, the second annual Cancer Summit for those who care for young adults with cancer and living beyond, as well as those who are going through it, healthcare professionals, parents, guardians, the whole gamut. So we're really, really excited moving forward. The goal is to hit 2,000 participants, individuals living with cancer, and everyone that supports them to join Primetown. So get all your friends and family and anyone that has been there on the journey with you and bring them, because if you haven't learned already, there is a infinite amount of possibilities at Primetown with the guests that we're interviewing. And with that, I will not take up too much time. I'm still looking for some entertainment. We're going to get the aux cord plugged in a moment, but I actually have my next guest. I'm going to give a call to Dr. Anne Katz. She knows all about this Primetown and Young Adult Cancer Canada business, as she's been a guest speaker at many different events in the past. She is a sexuality counselor with Cancer Care Manitoba. I'm really, really excited to see what she has to say and what she's going to bring to this year, as she has a couple sessions as the weekend rolls on. So folks, I'm going to get ready to rock, and I will see you a little bit later on. We are still in the skies, and we are making a great trajectory time-wise, folks, to Primetown 2022. It is about a week away, and we're trucking along. But that said, we're not entertained. There's no radio still. It's getting hot in here. I need to talk to somebody to engage and get excited for Primetown coming up. So I have Dr. Anne Katz, who is both a PhD prepared nurse and certified sexuality counselor with Cancer Care Manitoba with us. I mean, I know Dr. Katz has done a considerable amount of these sort of conversations for Primetown, so I'm really, really excited what she's going to bring to the table moving forward. And I have a question for you to start things off. What would 3 words you would use be to describe yourself?
I love this question. So the first would probably be opinionated, curious, and empathetic.
I like it. I like it. I think to be opinionated, you almost have to be curious, right? So I think those definitely go hand in hand to a degree. So I think that's a fantastic way to answer that first one. And so to get people engaged in terms of what you'll be bringing, not necessarily just to Primetown, but more so the background, what drove your interest in becoming a certified sexuality counselor, so much so that you were interested in preparing sessions and speeches delivered to young adults?
So there's a long story and there's a short story related to this, but mostly it was it was a topic that I was really interested in from a professional perspective. And I recognized that there was a population that had high unmet needs in relation to sexuality. And that was, people living with cancer across the age spectrum. So from young adults all the way through to the very old, which I know for young people sometimes is a little surprising, but certainly, older people have a lot of free time. And so that's really what got me interested. And because I was learning as I was doing the work, I wrote some books. I think it's 16 now. I sort of lost count a while ago. And my latest book is written for the parents and partners of young adults with cancer. And it's called Caring for the Young Person with Cancer. This is a biological disruption. Our children, young adults, adolescents, our children are not supposed to get sick. And I don't think there's anything that prepares a parent for this. And that's one of the talks that I'll be doing on Friday. The other is helping the friends, the partners, the BFFs, the friends of the young person with cancer, giving them some guidance on how do you deal with this? It's not easy, right? Because once again, it's not supposed to happen.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue into this next question, considering the attendees to Primetown maybe have heard you speak in previous settings, but in terms of bringing to the table this particular set of 2 sessions, what can these attendees expect to learn from these 2 sessions surrounding the concept of taking care of your children through diagnosis, and then similarly supporting your partner or sort of friend in the process?
Yeah, so the aim really is, or the objective of both talks is to give, some guidance, some tips in a sometimes humorous, and I think we learn from humor. We also learn from stories, and so I'm hoping to actually have some video of parents, partners, friends, talking about some of their experiences, the difficult things, the things that perhaps lighten their load a little bit. We often don't pay that much attention to the parents and certainly the friends of young people with cancer. It's all about the young adult, which is as it should be, but they live within the context, right, of all those other relationships.
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot to take in from there, and all the different demographics that you touched on there, I think are really going to learn a lot from this session, especially those who may not have heard you speak in previous capacities. So more of a question outside of the topic of conversation that you're bringing to Primetown, and but more so to get to know you a little bit. You've written 16 or so books. About books that you've read, what is your all-time favorite fiction and nonfiction novel?
So of late, I have not been reading a lot of fiction.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of actually writing a chapter for a proposal for another book. And
All
so
right.
I've been reading. I mean, if you had to see my office, honestly, you would shake your head. I've got piles of, journal articles all over the place. And so I find sometimes I'm a little bit tired after work, but I've recently been reading some interesting nonfiction books. So the one was Sarah Polley, and you may remember her from the Anne of Green Gables and Road to Avonlea. Sarah Polley has written this incredible book. It actually started off as a series of essays called Run Towards Danger. Not an easy read, and I don't mean from the grammar point of view, but she's just brutally honest about the experiences she's had in her life and being a child actor, and all the things that went on. Also, she had a really bad concussion, so her struggle with recovery from that was really very, very interesting. And then this links back to my writing. This year, I went to Iceland, to Reykjavik, to an international writers retreat that is led by actually Iceland's first lady. She's the wife of the president of Iceland, which is an elected position, and it's really ceremonial more than anything else. But she's actually an ex-Canadian, so she grew up outside Ottawa, and she has written a book called Secrets of the Spraker, and it's about Icelandic women and their role in Icelandic society. Her name is Eliza Reid. She's a lovely, lovely person, really doesn't not stand offish at all. Well, she's Canadian. And the book is all about Icelandic society. It's a very, very egalitarian society. And I must admit, there were times when I was reading the book thinking, oh man, I would love to live in Iceland. They have laws around women's participation in boards of directors, etc. Wow. So that was really interesting to get a window into life in Icelandic society. And then I went to Iceland.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which is really cool.
That's it. That's cool. It obviously ties it all together. I know I personally love any recommendations about things that I would never consider reading. That would definitely be on the list, but it ties it all together. That is a great couple of recommendations. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that, and appreciate you jumping on with me. I know you're obviously busy preparing for Primetown. I think we're all really excited to hear a couple of the sessions that you're going to be bringing to the table. I will leave you be, but thank you very much. We'll get back to my lovely plane here, and we'll chat soon.
Take me with you.
I will try. There's always place in the cockpit.
Bye.
We'll chat soon. Bye.